Hi, this is David. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the .NET SDK to create and manage .NET applications from the command line. Now, in order to use this tool, you'll have to have the .NET SDK installed, and you may already have it installed. You can test that by opening up a command prompt. Here I am in the Windows terminal, and just type .NET. And here I do have it installed, and I can know this because it's showing me some help options of how to actually run this command. If I didn't have it installed, it would say something like .NET command not recognized, in which case you'll have to go to this page right here, .NET.microsoft.com/download, and you see the button right here to install it, and that'll download an executable that you can run and install this tool. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to show you how to create a new .NET application. I'm going to create a directory here. I'll call it console test 1, and I'll change to that directory here. And what I'm going to do is use the .NET command. Everything starts with .NET, and then I follow it up with an argument. In this case, it'll be new. New tells it to create a new .NET project, and I have to tell it what type of project. Simplest type of project I can think of is a console application. So .NET new console. We'll create a very simple console application. You can see that there's an object folder and there's a project here, and then there's a program file. That's where the code is. It's a really simple program. If I type out that, you'll see there's a comment, and then below that, just console.writeLine hello world. So one line of code, they'll just output hello world. And what I can do with this now that I have a project, I can build it, .NET build. Right here, and you see it built successfully, and I can do a .NET clean. .NET clean is useful if you compile something, or if you've added references and removed references. Sometimes it leaves behind artifacts that may confuse the compiler and try to run, for example, an old version of a NuGet package. If you want to do that, if you're having that issues, .NET Clean will remove all those old artifacts, making the next build take a little bit longer, but making sure that it's clean and we don't have that issue. Not an issue here since I haven't really changed anything and we don't have any dependencies. But in this case, but it's useful to do. But now I want to run the application. So if I say .NET run, then it'll run a project that it finds in the current folder. And there it did it. Remember, the output was console.writeLine hello world. Well, there it just output hello world. Very simple application. Now notice again, the name of the application or the name of the project is console test1.cs project. It chose that because I didn't specify a name for this project, so it just gave it the same name as this folder. But I have the power to change that. Let me go back and create another folder, call it console test 2. Change to that, and now I'll run that same command, .NET new console, but I'm going to actually add an extra argument here, --name, and I'm going to give it an explicit name, GCast console, like that. And now, yeah, I get the same output, but in this GCast console folder, it's given the name that I asked for, GCast console.cs project. Other than that, everything is the same. All right, so that's a nice, simple way to create a new application and build, clean, and run that application. But console applications aren't the only thing that you can do. There's a lot of different types of applications you might want to create. And so I'm going to create another one. This time I'm going to actually go into Visual Studio Code right here. So I can show you some more, a little bit. This is just better for showing some of the code that's created. And I'm here in the terminal in Visual Studio Code. This is a free download, by the way. You can go view terminal to get to that terminal right here. Any terminal. Come on, give it a second. It's going to open it up. Come on. View terminal one more time. There we go. And in here, let me make a directory. I'll call this one MVC test 1 and change to that directory here. And now I'll execute this command, .NET new, and instead of console, I'll say MVC. That's the kind of application that I want to use. And you can see here in MVC1, it created the scaffolding for a very simple MVC project. Simple by MVC standards, but of course a lot more complicated than a console application. I have some models in here, and I have views, and I have controllers. That's what the MVC stands for, models, views, and controllers. And you'll notice that if I run this application, and this would, .NET Run will implicitly build if it hasn't been built yet, or if any changes have been made and hasn't been built since the last changes. So it did a build first, and then it did a run. And an MVC application is actually a web application. So the output of this just tells you where to find that web application. In this case, it's at localhost 5069. So I'll open up that web page right here. And here's my application. Pretty simple. It has a home page, it has a privacy page, and that's pretty much it. And I can go back here and close that application. And just to show you that I'm running the same application, I'll go into the view and make a simple change here to the home page view. I'll just add some exclamation points at the very end, and then save that page right here. And now when I run it again, it's still at 5069. So if I refresh this page, you should see those exclamation points did show up right here. So that's the change that I made here. And the other thing I want to show you is you'll notice that in this code, everything is in C#. C# is the default language for this CLI, for this command line interface. And but you may want a different language. So you can, when I said .NET new MVC, I didn't specify what language, so it defaulted to C#. Maybe I want some other language. So let me show you how to do that. I'll make a directory called MVC test2 and change to that directory. And now when I do .NET new MVC, I'm going to add it. I'll give it a name, -- name GCast MVC, and I'll also give it a language argument. I'll tell it I want this to be an F#. And so what'll happen now, if I go into MVC test2, is first of all, it created this with the project name that I said, GCast MVC. And then also, if I look at any of my code, it's not in C#, it is now in F#. There's a lot more to this SDK that you can experiment with. If you want to know more, just type .NET help, and that'll give you a list of all the commands that you can do here. You can, for example, do .NET test, and if I had any automated tests in this solution, then it would automatically run all of those tests. All kinds of really nice things in here. And then if I want to do, say, let's say .NET test help, I think is the syntax for that, or no, I want .NET help test. It takes me to the help page for that, where I can see test itself has all kinds of switches and arguments that you can add to it. And actually, to find all this stuff, there is a help page, learn.microsoft.com/.NET Core Tools. I think from right here, because it knows that I'm an English speaker in the US, my browser knows that it directed me to here. But this actually will give you an information on all of these commands right here, where you can find them, look them up yourself if you want to. In this video, I've shown you how to use the .NET SDK to create .NET projects and to manage those projects. This is David. Thank you for watching.